Welcome Home Go, inspiring you to find ways to serve, engage, and make a difference. Making it easier for you to find hope in your busy world. Our original production on Good Life 45, where hope happens. Go, make a difference.
Hi everyone, I'm Barbara Beck and I want to thank you for tuning in to Welcome Home Go. 30 minutes of discussions on challenging topics that will inspire you to go make a difference. This shorter version, a spin-off of Welcome Home, was created because we know you're super busy. So we've made it even easier for you to find hope, to grow in your faith walk, and then go and make a difference in this challenging world of ours. You'll still get the same meaningful, inspiring discussions on topics that we believe Jesus would want us to respond to by serving wherever we're called. Our focus on Welcome Home Go is to encourage you to find ways to serve that fit your lifestyle and your set of God-given gifts. These next few minutes together, let's listen and learn how to mobilize our families, our friends, our people, and do something to make a difference in someone's life. Maybe it's just one person, but go, serve, be the hands and feet of Jesus, and enjoy with me now. Welcome Home Go.
Go, make a difference.
Thanks so much for being here with us today. What an encouraging show that we have about overcoming odds. You know, there are obstacles in all of our way, and we need to know as Christians how to navigate some of those very difficult roads that are ahead of us. And if we haven't been navigating them in the past, we probably will in the future. So today's program is going to really encourage you with a wonderful, wonderful guest who's a pastor who has had his own journey with how to overcome odds in his own life. In fact, he gave me this really cool bracelet called Overcoming the Odds, and it says, I can and I will. Gabriel Padilla, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Oh, I'm so glad to be here today, Barbara.
Pastor Gabriel Padilla, who wrote a book called Overcoming the Odds.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
that's great. Thank you so much. Also, thank you for the t-shirt. I love this.
Of course.
And all of these wonderful things can be found on your website, which we'll put up on the screen for our viewers. But before we talk about that and all of the wonderful other things, who are you? Tell us your story.
Well, thank you so much, Barbara. I'm so happy to be here today. Well, my name is, like it says, Gabriel Padilla. They call me the Little Giant.
The Little Giant.
And the reason, you probably can't tell because the camera, I'm sitting down, but I'm actually 4'10". I'm a short man, and I was born with a very rare condition called hypophosphatemic rickets. And it's a condition where the bones are very soft. It lacks vitamin D, and so because of that condition, my bones are soft and they bend. So from an early age, I've had bow legs and had to go through many surgeries and difficulties. But right now, all those things that's happened in my life, I'm a pastor now, I'm married, I have 4 children.
Do you?
Yes, and I'm just so glad to be alive.
Nice.
And I love sharing my story with so many different people that may have different obstacles and are facing different things in their life.
Right, because a lot of people would say, how can you be a pastor? You're only 4 feet tall, 4 feet 9, 4 feet 10, sorry.
Yeah.
So when you were a little boy, what did your parents find out about this as soon as you were born? Did they know this?
Well, before I was born, my mother and my father, they lost a baby in the hospital. And the doctors, the doctors told my parents, don't have any more kids.
Really?
But they were disobedient.
Good.
And,
thank God,
thank
right?
God. They were disobedient. And a year later, my mom was pregnant again. And they started doing tests. And they found out that the baby was going to come out mentally and physically disabled.
Wow, that's you.
Yes. And they told my parents that the best thing they should do is have an abortion.
Wow.
And my parents, being believers, they said, no matter how the baby comes out, we're going to take care of him, we're going to love him, and here I am today, standing strong in the Lord and sharing my story with everybody.
Do you have siblings?
Yes.
They had more children after you?
Well, before me.
Oh, before you,
And the crazy thing, my mom told me, my parents told me that if they would have had the other baby, then that was it. They weren't going to have any more kids.
Oh, okay. So now you said you have 4 children. Do any of your children have this condition?
Yes. So I have 4 children, and my son doesn't have it, but my daughters do have it. Okay. And they all have hypophosphatemic rickets, and all of them are already on their second, third surgeries.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But what I love about them is that they are overcomers as well.
Good, good.
Yeah.
Well, how could they not be with a parent like you with such a wonderfully positive attitude? And I got to meet your beautiful wife here before we went on the air. So praise God for your family. What did you do as a little boy when people would, and I'm sure they did, because you were probably, even though you only grew to the height you are now, even as a little boy, you were probably smaller than the other children, right? So did they make fun of you?
Yeah. That was one of the big things, is that everywhere I would go, they would make fun of me, call me shrimp, call me midget, call me elf. They would call me different names.
How would you react?
And, you know, I didn't allow it to bother me.
Okay.
You know,
Did you kind of go with it?
I kind of went with it, and you know, like if they would say something, I'm like, you better be careful, because I'm gonna hit you in your kneecap. You know, and I think that's what really turned things around. Where they were like, well, hey, this guy's comfortable being a small man, and I actually became like one of the most popular kids in the school, and everybody wanted to like be my friend.
Yeah. Well, I can see that happening. So you said your parents were believers. Obviously, they didn't choose abortion. Praise God, they chose life, because look what we have with you. But when did you come to know the Lord?
Even as a young kid, I mean, my parents raised me in church, and I believe I was saved since I was a baby, because literally because of everything that happened. But even at a young age, 7, 8 years old, I kind of was a little bit mature. So I was raised in church. I knew what it was like, and I accepted Jesus Christ at an early age to be my Lord and Savior. I was like, you know what? How could I not? After my mom telling me my story, and after all the things I've been through, I was like, I have to have Jesus. Like, even when I try to run away, I can't run away from God. He outruns me. And so even at a young age, I just gave my life to Jesus, and I've just been totally radical for him ever since.
So ever since, you've never rebelled, you've never gone down any dark
well, I've had my moments. I've been through some stuff where I tried to do my worldly things, but in the end, it's like, I can't escape God. So I always come back.
Okay, so Gabriel, and I like to call you Gabby, because that's what your friends call you. And if I want to be your friend, Gabe, Gabby, Gabriel, I don't think you've had to overcome odds. Because honestly, it sounds like, I mean, you're the wrong guy for this show, actually, because you're not really acting like that was a detriment to you, to be short, right? Where does that come from?
Well, having so many surgeries, I've had, you know, about 7, 8 surgeries on my legs, you know, depression kicks in.
Does it?
Because, you know, my parents raised me where I was like my other brothers and sisters. They didn't give me any special treatment, even though my sister, my brother will say, yeah, they gave me special treatment, but I had to climb up and get my cereal. I had to, you know, do what I had to do. So my parents raised me to be independent. And so when I had to go through those surgeries, now I had to depend on people to get up, to do this, because my surgeries were on my legs. So I couldn't just get up and just do whatever I wanted. So there was one time after one of the surgeries that depression kicked in so bad where I wanted to commit suicide, where I was like, God, why am I even here?
Wow.
What's the point? For me to be disabled, for me to be having to depend on people, for me to have to just sit around and wait for, I was like, for that you should just let my parents have an abortion. I mean, that's me really like talking. I mean, I got rebellious against my parents. I'm like, you should just have the abortion, because look at me. Who's gonna wanna marry a guy like me that can't do anything for myself? So that was tough. And the things that a lot of people don't realize, that on top of having the physical disability, on top of the operations, I had a speech impairment. So I had to go to speech therapy twice a week in school to try to fix my stuttering and the way I spoke. And on top of having the speech impairment, I had a reading disability. So, you know, so I had all these things coming on top of me, people making fun of me, this, you know, feeling overlooked. And it was hard.
Okay, so never mind. You have overcome odds. Okay, so I was wrong about that. But honestly, I see you today as this incredibly effective pastor, right? With a speech impediment. How in the world did that ever happen? I see you as being positive. I don't see the depression. I don't see you lacking worth or value. And I see you as somebody who understands his purpose in life, and that you're living life fully. So at some point, you after so many surgeries, I mean, how did you get rid of the depression?
Well, I got to a point where I realized, you know, you can't allow a temporary situation be permanent. And I think that's what kind of got into me. Like, I knew there was a call upon my life ever since I was a kid. I mean, everywhere I would go, somebody would say, hey, God has a call in your life. So, you know, in the midst of that depression, something just kind of woke up inside of me and said, you are the little giant that people are saying you are. So this is just temporary. Stop making a permanent place in a temporary situation. And I said, you know what, I'm going to overcome this thing, and I'm going to use this as a testimony, as stepping stones to help somebody else that is going through what I'm going through, or have what I've been through in my life. And that's where, you know, I am.
And you know what else I'm hearing you do is that you are living what people are telling you. What you're telling yourself is that, I am a little giant, but I do have purpose and worth in life, and I am going to be an overcomer. So a lot of it is that self kind of believing in yourself. And I don't want to take anything away from Jesus, because I know Jesus is a huge part of the picture. But it's also listening to what Jesus is saying about who you are. He created you, Gabby, with a purpose.
Amen.
And you are somebody who is making a tremendous impact on people's lives. Are you in pain every single day?
Every day.
Every day. Where do you hurt?
I mean, even if I get up right now, it's going to take me a second to
get going.
I mean, I just every day I wake up, I still have pain in my legs, in my back, but I get up every day and I say, you know what? Today's the day. Today I can have my miracle. Today I'm going to bless somebody. Today I'm going to leave somebody better than how I found them.
Wow, what an attitude! Are your parents like you?
Where
do you get this?
They're very motivating. They're very inspiring. I love. Yeah, my parents have always been supportive. So yeah.
So looking back, and I know that you would be like this with your 3 daughters who all have your, what can I call
it?
Condition. What are you doing to help them have the same kind of outlook on life that you have, to be an overcomer?
Yeah, I think for some reason, I guess they just see me and they're the same way. I don't know, like I have one of my daughters that her leg is like really bent in. Instead of being bent out, it's bent in. And she's like doing gymnastics and jumping around the house. And I'm having to tell her, calm down, stop, stay still, be careful, because she is like flipping everywhere and doing gymnastics. And she's like, awesome. And then my daughter, the other one, she's just always dancing and always like preaching and always, I'm like, oh my God.
Where is that coming from?
This was me when I was a kid, but I don't even know how I don't know. But I'm inspired by them. They inspire me. So
that's so neat. Okay,
exciting.
so I want you to take us back to when your dating days, because you were saying, who's going to ever want to marry me? I'm this little guy. Did you date a lot of people before you finally found the one?
Well, for some reason, I guess my personality, that's what they tell me, attracted a lot of girls for some reason, and so I would have a lot of girlfriends when I was younger.
Come on, Gabby, you're a good-looking guy. Come on, you don't have to be tall to be good-looking.
What's funny is that, like, the girls, I'd be like, oh, I don't like short men, like, that would make me want to, like, show them, like,
you're missing out.
You're missing out. And the ones that would not want to date short guys would be the ones that, and the guy, like, you're really cool. I really like you.
Right. So you dated a lot of people before you met Leo, is what you're telling me, right?
Yeah, but I've changed. I'm married and happy.
Well, you can date. I dated a lot of guys. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with that. Back in our day, you just dated a lot of different people before you found the one. And I don't know that that's the ideal way to do it, but that's the way we did it. So tell me about meeting Leo, your wife.
So Leah and I have been friends since she was like 11 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, we met each other in church, and we were best of friends. So the crazy part is that I would date her friends. But she would always look out for me.
Okay.
So she would be like, oh, be careful with her because, she's not doing good things. And she's always had my back. And I didn't like her because she wasn't really attractive when she was like, 13
and
12.
She's a beauty today.
Yeah, and now, so when she's 15, 16 years old, I'm like, whoa. And then I'm like, hey, you want to be my girlfriend? And she's like, no, I know how you are. I'm not going to date you. I know your games. And then finally with my persistence, because I'm a little man, but I'm persistent. I was persistent, and finally she's like, all right, I'll give you a chance. And so we started dating, and the crazy part was that at the age of, she was 16, I was 18, and she became pregnant. We had a child out of wedlock. And coming from the church that I was at, that was a big no-no, and we were shunned. We were like put to the side. People talked about us. People said my calling was over. They said our ministry was destroyed.
Wow.
We were not going to be able to get up. I mean, people that from the church.
Yeah, sad.
It was very sad, and but I think that was another motivation for me to say, you know what? I'm not going to let you be right.
Yeah.
We're gonna. The calling of God is over our lives, and we're gonna move forward. And we did have a kid out of wedlock, but I loved her. She loved me, and said, you know what? We're gonna get married, and we're gonna do things right. And we've been October. We'll be 15 years together.
Congratulations. That is great. Yeah. Gabriel Padilla. We're going to take a little bit of a break because I want to hear about Gabriel, and you're going to want to hear about his ministry there at his church, where he is the, not senior pastor, but he is the lead pastor. And we're going to hear more about that coming up. So stay with us, and we'll be right back with more.
I'm Johnny Erkson Tata. Not long ago, I was in an extended season of chronic pain. I can't quite explain how a quadriplegic feels pain, but be that as it may, pain makes my quadriplegia feel like a walk in the park. Having to stay in bed with pain, constantly readjusting my position in my wheelchair, it was so frustrating. I was tempted to think, God, come on. None of my friends are faced with hard stuff like this. Aren't you asking just a little bit much? But just what does God ask of us? Deuteronomy chapter 10 provides the answer. Listen to this. Fear the Lord your God, walk in all his ways, love him, and serve the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul. So, all God asks for is everything. And if we think that God is asking too much, let's remember what God has already given. Romans chapter 8 says that he who did not spare his own son gave him up for us all. Oh, friend, think on that. Think on that sacrifice. God gave his own son. Remember that. Because if God could give us his son, through hard times we certainly can give him our trust.
Go, make a difference.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm so glad that you're here with us today because we're talking about overcoming odds, overcoming obstacles in our lives, that we all have those speed bumps along the way. And some of us have them from birth, like our guest today, Gabriel Padilla, had a condition that you were born with that would not allow you to grow more than 4 feet 10 inches,
Correct.
right? But you have been an overcomer all these years, and God had a calling on your life. You became a preacher, pastor. Tell us about your church. Where's your church? What you're doing there?
Well, actually, October marks 10 years of ministry, of pastoring between.
Congratulations.
Yeah, so
wow.
we're excited.
At the same church?
At the same church.
Whoa.
Yeah, my wife and I, we actually founded it in my garage with 8 people.
Oh, that's great.
And mostly family, and from there.
Non-denominational?
Non-denominational.
Okay.
And we're growing, and we're actually here in Orlando, Florida.
Okay. How many people now?
We have about 150 people.
That is amazing.
Most
So what
definitely.
is the emphasis there at your church? What do you, I mean, I know you can't talk about overcoming odds every single day, right? Every single Sunday. What is sort of your mission there at your church?
Yeah, we love to give people opportunities that have been forsaken, people that have been rejected, just a place of hope. It's a place of restoration. People that have been lost, it's a home, it's a family, and people can come and just get restored, and they're going to receive love from our congregation, and that's the main thing.
How about the diversity?
Oh, we have diversity.
I love that.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah, and we
Good.
do our services bilingual. So we have for the Spanish and for the English. And
So you're from Puerto Rico originally?
Yes, my family's from Puerto Rico. I was born in New York, but my family's Puerto Rican.
Okay. See, I love, Gabriel, that you were saying, before we went on the break, you were saying that you and your precious wife, Leo, had a baby out of wedlock, and that the Christians would look at you with condemnation and with rejection, and judgment, right? That is what we need to move away from.
Correct.
How are we going to attract millennials and young people if we continue to be so judgmental?
Correct.
We need to open our arms wide and realize that, we all have mistakes in our lives,
Most
but
definitely.
we can still love the Lord and
Exactly.
love Jesus. So what are some of the situations and things that, do you, and this is going to sound really like an odd question, but it's kind of one of my deals that I really feel strongly about is opening our arms wide up to the gay community.
Yeah.
Anybody there?
Yeah, for some reason, people come to me and they say, I have to tell you something, Pastor. And I already know. I already know. And I said, you know what? I still love you.
Good.
And how are we going to work through this? And I've had a few people come, and I keep them accountable.
Good.
I give them resources because there's resources out there.
Absolutely.
There's a great book out there that I usually give to everyone that comes, any person that comes to me and tells me, hey, I struggle with this in my life, and I give them that book, and I pray with them, and I call them, and I meet with them and say, hey, one of the main things I say, hey, how you doing? And one thing that I do is I hug them with a manly hug that says this is not sexual, this is a hug from a father to a son.
Good.
And I just give them a message of hope.
See, I think that's so important because I listened to a podcast, Gabriel, just the other day where a man was talking about how difficult it was for him to go to church because they don't receive that often from our conventional churches. And so when we start a church in our garage, it's non-denominational, it's non-judgmental, it just feels like you're embracing people that might not have a place otherwise except for your church. What's the name of your church?
It's called Elevated Life Church.
And why did you call it that?
Well, we started off as a different name, and Elevation Christian Church, and then just recently we just wanted to change and have something fresh, and we want your life to get elevated from where you are. We want to take you to another level. You know, we tell people when you come to Elevated Life Church with a name like that, you can't stay at the same level.
That's right.
You got to go higher and higher and higher, from glory to glory, and that's what we promote.
So what are some of the challenges that you face every day as a pastor?
Well, as a pastor, I feel like, there's so many criticism, just even being a young pastor, being a short pastor. A lot of times people just kind of say, well, I'm not going to go there because he's so young, or I'm not going to go there because of the way he looks or the way he operates or because he preaches in jeans and a T-shirt, and the things that give us a try.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's a little challenging because, like, God is in this place. People are being restored. Marriages are being restored. People that have been lost, people that have been forsaken, they come to a place and you see them that, their hands are lifted up. They're getting breakthrough. They're getting freedom. So that's something that I face every day. I'm like, wow, I wish people would just give us a chance to just come and check us out, and they'll feel the presence of God and a different atmosphere that we have.
I love that. So, all-encompassing, all-loving.
Yes.
What does the Bible teach, Gabriel, about overcoming odds? And I'm trying to think of who in the Bible did not have to overcome odds. Most people did have obstacles in the Bible. But what are you seeing that the Bible teaches to encourage people out there today who are listening?
I think one thing that comes to my mind is just, that to overcome, in the sense of, no weapon formed against you shall prosper. I believe you're more than a conqueror.
Yes.
And you're not just a conqueror, you're not just a fighter, you're not just a believer, but you're more than. And I think that's something that even, every person needs to get that in their spirit. Whatever you're facing, whatever you're going through, I'm more than a conqueror. This thing, it may be challenging, but it's not going to overcome me. I'm going to overcome it. I'm going to overcome that challenge. I'm going to overcome that obstacle in the name of Jesus. So we're more than overcomers.
And boy, have you done it with your family too, those 3 daughters. Now, did you say the daughter was the first one or the son's the first one?
My son is the
son, and then 3 daughters with your condition.
Correct.
As well. And so what do you see for them in life?
Over each of their lives, I see God's hand over all of them. I just see, I could just see, even at a young age, I can see their calling, I can see their purpose, and that's one thing that we try to put God in the center of our family. And for my son, singing and musician, and
good.
Yeah, and then and he's so tall. He's like, he's 5'7".
Wow.
5'7", 5'8".
Wow.
He's huge. And then
does he use that to get to you sometimes?
Yeah, he tries to.
Yeah,
but
Dad, you can't tell me what to do, but yeah, you can.
But and then he's 14, so now he's getting to that age where a teenager. But then for my other daughter, I see a preacher in her. I mean, leadership ability.
Good.
I mean, she works with the children, and I mean, mature for her age. I mean, she's 12 years old, and she just, I just see her just, if somebody's not there, hey, I haven't seen you in a while. I see that leadership. And then my older daughter, playing the piano and just dancing, and I hear her humming and singing, and it's just like, wow. And then my little one, the same thing. She's just the same thing, just her energy and her, just the way she is. I see God's hand upon each, and I just see their calling.
But you're speaking truth into their lives too, which is a huge thing. And a lot of times we have fathers and sometimes mothers who don't really believe in their children. And I just want that to be a reminder to our viewers today to speak truth to your kids, to tell them they're going to be great in life. They're already great. God does have a plan for their lives. And I love that you're doing that. What are you and your wife Leo doing at home to kind of grow your children in the way that you're talking about? I mean, they can't come out of the womb being like you're talking about being. They're just not that way. They may have some of that DNA in them that is an overcomer, but what are you doing?
One of the things that I'm doing is not just having church at church, but making sure that in the home we're reflecting Jesus. In the home we're promoting Jesus. We're promoting love towards people, and that's what we're trying to put into our kids, and just seeing them express themselves as well and communicating with them. Even my son, he's 14 and he's starting to see things in ministry, and even him being disappointed at times, saying, "Hey, Dad, why are they treating you this way when all you do is love on these people?"
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that's where we sit down and we communicate and say, "Hey, you know what? No matter what, we have to love these people. They can leave and they can say whatever they want to say, but we're just going to continue to love the people that leave and the people that come, and just treat everybody the same."
Gabriel, what is your life expectancy? I mean, is there anything that would make you maybe die at a young age, or are you supposed to live a long, full life? Other than that, which we all have. Yeah.
No, I mean, not that I know of. No, I mean, I'm hoping to live for a very long time, and
so it's not like they said, okay, you're going to die at 40 or something.
No,
okay.
I plan on living for a long time. And,
more surgeries in the future for you?
There is one more surgery that we may get because the pain is getting so bad right now that we're going to probably be going to an orthopedic surgeon and seeing
legs, back.
Yeah, it's about
always the
legs, hip, and just seeing about straightening that out so that I can be a little bit more effective in standing up and preaching and going on fire and standing on chairs and.
You do that. I can see you doing that. Yeah, so
stand up on chairs, stand up on speakers. Somebody took a picture the other day, and I'm standing on a speaker just like preaching. Wow.
You are a giant. You are a giant.
Thank you.
So what advice would you give the viewer out there today who is struggling with some kind of obstacle that they don't think they can overcome that obstacle? What would you tell that person today?
Well, one thing that I would say is we had a hurricane last year, Hurricane Irma, and I remember looking outside and seeing the palm trees that they were blowing, and it looked like they were going to break and fall, and you see the roof shingles flying everywhere, and I was like, oh my gosh, these palm trees are going to die. They're going to fall, they're going to break, because you see them bending. Yeah. And I remember, that night hearing the winds and power going out, and waking up in the morning and seeing everything destroyed, but those palm trees were still standing. And I realized, studying, that I thought that the winds and the adversity and the storms would make palm trees weaker. But after studying, it makes them stronger. Wow. So what I would say to you is that no matter what you're going through in your life, it looks like it's bending you. It may bend you, but it won't break you. It's going to make you stronger than what you were before. Everything I've been through in my life, because I didn't give up, because I kept on moving forward, I'm stronger now, I'm wiser now, I'm able to preach to others and speak to others and walk life with other people because of all the adversity that I've faced in my life. So don't give up, don't throw in the towel, keep on moving forward. You have a story to share. Don't be afraid, keep on moving forward.
Boy, I love that. I would love to sit under your leadership sometime, Gabriel. You're awesome. Author of Overcoming the Odds, Discovering Your Purpose and Fulfilling Your Destiny. Go to that website that's on your screen right now if you want other of his resources to be encouraged by Gabriel and the incredible ministry he has there at his church. What a pastor, what a giant, what a wonderful man of God he is. And I'm so glad that you were able to hear his testimony today. Stay with us. We have a little bit more coming up for you.
Go. Make a difference.
Powerful words and discussions, even challenging in a lot of ways, right? Well, it certainly makes me want to re-examine my own priorities. I want to make sure that everything I'm doing is in line with God's will for my life, being involved in ministries and activities that are pleasing to my Father, and never just spinning my wheels. Well, I know you're super busy, and here at Good Life 45, we want to serve you in the best ways we can and make it even easier for you to find hope in this challenging world. That's why our focus on Welcome Home Go is to encourage you to find ways to serve that fit your lifestyle and your set of God-given gifts. Friends, we need to be learning, applying our hearts to instruction, finding ways to be winsome to the world, but then going out and serving like Jesus would do. He would go and serve others. That's our calling. God's going to use you in ways you can't even imagine. So keep learning and growing, but take another step. You don't have to go across the ocean. Like the program you just saw, we want to share countless examples of ways you can change people's lives right here, right now. Go. Just make a difference in someone's life. And that's it for today. Thanks so much for watching Welcome Home Go. I hope to see you out there, and God bless you.
You just watched Welcome Home Go, a Good Life 45 original production that makes you part of our Hope Team here on Good Life 45, where hope happens.